Hello, welcome to Full Record Jacket. If you joined us for this one, hopefully you watched the one before, which is round three, part one. This is round three, part two. Of course, we are doing the one hit wonders of the 90s. It's the last 16, four more face offs between these classic tracks. Ben, it's over to you.
It's almost like we've never been away. We're doing this in exactly the same clothes.
It's so funny, isn't it? It's almost as if we both forgot what we were wearing in the last episode,
I
and we
know.
just
It's crazy, isn't it?
put them on again, and we're doing it at the same time of day as well. How weirdly,
I know. It's strange, isn't it?
weirdly
And my album, which I
coincidental.
normally change, I haven't bothered changing.
I guess it's a funny thing.
Shall I
isn't
change it?
Yeah.
Just for.
What have you got? Something to put on? Yeah.
I've got something I could.
What is the one that's there? Is it steps?
Is it steps?
I can read the word. I can read the word steps on the front.
It's a. I was actually chatting to the artist the other day on Instagram. It's a hip hop album by a guy called Jesse Dangerously. This is his side project. We'll talk about it in another episode called Library Steps. Very good album. Very good album.
I was jesting. I just saw the word steps on it. Thought I'd wind you up.
But this is an album called Cuts by EJ Maras, something like that. As you can tell, I've not opened it yet. So,
I don't know anything about that. What kind of music is that one?
You have to find out, won't you?
Okay, we'll find out at some future point.
Once I've listened to it, I've not opened it yet. It's still got the sticker on it here. Look.
Something I've never heard of. Well, back to something that we all
have
probably heard far too much of in the 90s in many cases. It's the one-hit wonders. So,
and I'm batting out the park. First one of your favourites, Phil. It's Herbert Michael Van Dinkle Donkel Winkelstein.
Word to your mother.
It is Ice Ice Baby, and it is up against the song that has a sound for a title.
Now, I was talking to a friend the other night.
I thought I was your friend.
Yeah, I was talking to her about this, and she somehow we got into the talking about the Phoenix Festival and all that stuff because we talked about that the other day. And I said to her, "Do you remember the Crash Test Dummies?" And she said, "Oh yeah, that was quite good," because she's into quite sort of cool music. So yeah, she said she remembers the Crash Test Dummies as being good. So that's up against
Vanilla Ice Baby.
Well, Vanilla Ice has got this far on the basis of being a little bit more iconic than some of the other rubbish records he went up against.
Yeah. Basically, he is he's that sort of non-league team that just keeps getting through the FA Cup, isn't
managed to get through, but now he's come up against a little bit of a bigger obstacle in the Crash Test Dummies.
Yeah.
He's smashed up against the Crash Test Dummies, and I think he's come off the worst for this, hasn't he?
I think his flavour has faded, his ice has melted, his cone is soggy. There is no Ice Ice Baby anymore. It's just go now.
Yeah. You see, if he'd had chocolate chips
or mint chocolate
in his vanilla ice, I might have gone for that.
Mint chocolate chip.
Yeah. Mint chocolate chip. What's the Italian one? What's the one with the
Elemento Chocolito.
No. Is it called Stracciatella?
All right, Mr. Like Italian.
Well, they do it with a sort of vanilla with chocolate bits, and I think that's what they call that one.
Mint chocolate chip's the only flavour you should ever be eating.
So Vanilla Ice has Vanilla Ice's bid for the title has melted away.
It has. Come on, Crash Test Dummies, come up with one for that.
And the Crash Test Dummies are speeding their way towards the quarterfinals. Will they collide with something else? We'll find out.
We will. They're in. Right, next up, we have...
Okay.
Save Tonight, Eagle Eye Cherry.
Oh, another Ben personal fave. Another one on the Ben personal jukebox.
Ben likes songs I don't like.
The jukebox in Ben's head. No, I do like that song. I think it's good.
And it's up against. I think it's the only one left. Oh no, there is another one of this genre, but there's not many left. It's "You're Not Alone" by Olive. You're not alone.
Now, can I, for the sake of argument, make an argument that Olive deserves to
Not be
better
pickled.
Eagle-Eyed Cherry? I don't know much about the Olive. You're Not Alone, apart from it's that sort of clubby type
It's that
song
sort
that was
of
a big,
it's
big
that,
hit in the 90s.
yeah, it's slightly trip hoppy, isn't it? It's got
Well, the Olive one is the sound of being out in a pub or club in the evening in the 90s.
yeah,
It's the sound of a 90s weekend.
yeah.
And
Well,
Eagle-Eyed Cherry is the sound of, what is he the sound of? A Sunday morning?
he's
Or
the
driving the car?
well, Save Tonight. Yeah, I suppose Sunday morning. He's yeah, yeah. I kind of yeah. Olive is that sort of when you're in the when you've gone from the pub and you're in the nightclub. And it's like 2:30 and everybody's
Yeah.
smashed, and then the banger comes on and everybody's like whoop 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 whoop.
So it's very 90s, you see, in that regard, isn't it? You see?
Yeah, yeah. But I am torn on this one. Generally, I am torn.
I don't know which of those I heard the most of in the 90s. What year was the Eagle-Eyed Cherry one? Was that 98?
I think it was 98. Could have been 97.
It was certainly later. And when
Till
was the
break
Olive
of
one?
dawn, come tomorrow. Tomorrow
When was
I'll be
Olive?
gone. Save tonight.
You're Not Alone. When was that?
I'm just looking up. I've only got one thumb. Save
I have a
tonight.
feeling that was...
Eagle-Eyed Cherry came out. What did it came out 7th of October, 1997.
Okay.
It was the
yeah.
lead singer from Desireless, which is a good album. I've got that.
Of course, he was also Nana Cherry's brother.
He was, yes, indeed. Yeah, Buffalo Stance. Olive came out in 1996. And do you know what the album was called?
I have no idea.
Because obviously they're comical geniuses. The album was called Extra Virgin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well. Oh dear. Well, there we go. So I don't have anything else to say there really. Although I have to say, as a one-hit wonder of the 90s, which is the best.
I'm checking just for my own benefit now, just to make sure that Olive did have other hits, and then I can kick them out for you. Then.
Olive did, say it's one of those. It's quite a defining hit of the decade. Not the most iconic track of the 90s, but it does make you think of the 90s.
It did go to number one in 1997. It was re-released in 97, went to number one.
Where did Eagle-Eyed Cherry get to?
It originally, when it came out originally, bear in mind it had to be re-released, but originally it got to number 42. So let's have a look at Eagle-Eyed Cherry. Eagle-Eyed Cherry. Save Tonight, Eagle-Eyed Cherry. Charts. It got to number one on the US Adult Alternative, number one on the US Mainstream, but number 6 on the UK Top 40. But it only had one release. It never got re-released like Olive did.
I didn't. Okay, so it was really big in America then, because sometimes these American records there are some American records obviously that are popular here and they're not as big in the States, but obviously that was big, very big over there. Billboard #1 as well.
Very big in Sweden, got to number 2 in Sweden.
But everybody's big in Sweden, aren't they?
Well, they're quite tall in Sweden, I think. Belgium, only number New Zealand, number 35.
Yeah. They didn't go for Eagle-Eyed Cherry.
No.
Well, I'll tell you what I do think. I'll be honest. I do think the Eagle-Eyed Cherry song, this is one argument on it. The Eagle-Eyed Cherry song could have come out in 2007. It could have come out in 2017. It could have come out almost in 1987. It's one of those songs that's just kind of quite a timeless kind of song, isn't it, really? It's that sort of...
It makes me feel good. When I hear Save Tonight, I actually sing quite loudly to it in the car.
Could have been it could even have been a 70s song, really, couldn't it, when you think about it? It could have been done by some band in the 70s and been on the radio ever since the 70s. Whereas the Olive one is very 90s to me.
Yeah.
But again, this is another of those things where you're passionate about the Eagle-Eyed Cherry song. And
I'm more passionate about it than I am the Olive song. I do like the Olive song. This isn't just a straight.
No.
It is a straight
Well,
shoot off.
to be honest, if you ask me which one would I like to put on the hi-fi and listen to, in fact, I would probably rather listen to the Eagle Eye Cherry one in my own car or at home. But the Olive one does sound more nightclubby. It would maybe make me feel a teeny bit nostalgic. Not that I'm that nostalgic about '90s nightclubs, but
Well,
I can lean towards you and Eagle Eye Cherry. So
you
I
sure?
think we can go for
You're
that.
getting
Yeah,
the last say on this one because I don't want to seem like a bully in the workplace.
we don't want it to be a microaggression.
No, right. I'm dropping it. If it drops, it's in.
I say I'm happy for Eagle Eye Cherry to
It's
go
in.
through.
You
So
can't go back now.
Olive has I
Has
don't know
been
what to say
pickled.
about it. Has been pickled. That's the one.
It has.
And
And Eagle Eye Cherry has saved himself.
Basically.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Just
yeah.
tonight.
Just tonight. Yeah.
Okay. So what's next?
Right, we're down to the last two of this round. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Okay. I didn't realise we'd done 3 already, to be honest. But
no, we've done 2. So
all
we've
right.
got 2 left. So we're down to the last 4.
Oh, you mean 2 pairings
Yeah,
left? Sorry, yeah, I'm being a bit dim there. Okay.
We have got everybody's favourite feet shufflers.
I thought you were about to say everybody's free to wear sunscreen.
No,
I think that's gone out, isn't it?
but it's more than a slight return. It is a slight return.
The
by
blue
the
tones are back,
and they're up against. They're up against Drinking in LA by Brand Van 3000.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you take the floor with this one, Phil.
So, sorry, what was the first one? I've just forgotten what it was.
There we go.
Drinking in LA.
Okay, Grandad, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let me have a look.
The blue tones slightly.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
I do remember now. Okay. So the Blue Tones one, I do remember being a good guitar band single, and I liked it at the time. Now this Drinking in LA, I don't remember it that well from the time, but it was the one for me that stood out, and all these ones when we listened to these again, that I thought, oh, this is actually pretty good. I like this. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I do like Brand Van 3000.
And because it's a bit newer to me, I feel like I've sort of just discovered it. So I'm kind of more enthusiastic about it than I am about the Blue Tones one, which I have heard quite a lot before. So
my abiding memory of the Blue Tones was, I remember hearing them. I think I had a radio on. If anybody under the age of 30 has listened to this, I had a portable radio with headphones on. I was listening to charts. And the Blue Tones were at number 1. I was like, who the hell are they? Never heard of them before. They just came out of nowhere at number 1. So that's my abiding. I do like the song.
Were they number 1 on the chart?
I'm pretty sure Slight Return went to number 1. I can't remember who it knocked off of number 1.
Really? It wasn't just like the indie chart or alternative chart?
I'm going to look it up for you now.
Well, I'll let you look it up then.
I'll look it up. Slight Return.
Probably be quick.
There's always that bit in the middle of the lyrics where I never quite understand what he's singing about. You've got to understand the problem and don't go home for a miracle. When he's actually singing it, it sounds completely different. But it came out 1996 from the Expecting to Fly album. And UK. Oh no, it went to number 2. I thought it went to number 1. So that must be a false memory from somewhere.
I had it in my head that it was a number 2 on the main chart. It's one of those sort of good number 2s. Maybe you heard it on some other chart, had you?
Maybe.
Or you just heard it was a new entry on the chart, and you'd never
possibly.
Heard of it.
I always thought it went to number 1, or maybe I might have been disappointed that it didn't go to number 1.
Could be.
And I'm just looking here, 35 amazing singles that didn't go to number 1. Because you forget Oasis, Wonderwall, Pulp, Common People.
There are loads of good ones, yeah. There were loads of good ones because quite often the number 1 is something like I don't know,
Robson and Jerome.
or somebody from a Sunday night drama singing an opera song that grannies like, or that kind of thing. So,
Well, the Verve Bittersweet Symphony. Maybe we could do a show on number ones, number
great
twos that should have been number
there are
ones.
loads of great number twos. Yeah, we could do that for sure.
Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley.
That was a number two. Yeah, of course. There's also Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane, and
Oh, one of the ones left in the thing, Born Slippy Underworld. That was only a number two. Madonna, Ray of Light. This has apparently got. But yeah, there's loads of them. We've got loads of shows coming up. Prince, 1999.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
I
actually think if you look at a list of all the number two records that peaked at number two, and look at the ones that peaked at number one, the number twos are better.
I think you're right. I mean, I'm just having a look at this chart here. The Blue Tones are peak position number two. It doesn't.
I'm not suggesting in any way that Engelbert Humperdinck's "Release Me" is better than Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields Forever.
Because it is.
I wouldn't make that suggestion. Of course, that would be controversial. But
it's not better anyway.
Really? Are you sure, Ben?
I'm sure.
Do you know what the B side of though? Because Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields Forever was a double A side. Because Engelbert Humperdinck did have a B side to Release Me. Do you know what that is?
Don't care.
10 guitars.
Ooh, should have had 11, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
And I might have liked it. Bloody Engelbert. Wasn't he from Leicester?
He's from that area. Yeah. Still officially lives there apparently.
Oh, does he?
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, back to
some village in Leicestershire.
What do you reckon then? Drinking in LA or Slight Return?
Oh.
I'm very torn on this. It's very close for me.
Yeah, I mean, Slight Return for me, of course, does hold more memories of the 90s because I do remember it from the time, and the other one I don't remember that well. When was that camper van? What's it
Camper van.
What's it called?
Brand Van 3000.
Brand Van 3000.
Brand Van Camper Van.
There was a band called Camper Van Beethoven, wasn't there?
Was it? Hi, my name's Stereo Mike. Yeah, we got free tickets to the Brand Van concert, man. Came out in 1997 from the album Glee. Let's see where it got to on the charts. It's got quite a good album.
Is it American? Is it that from the US, that one?
I would say that Brand Van are... I would say they're American. They've got to be Californian, something like that. Oh, no, they're Canadian.
Okay, so they were appropriating Californian sunshine.
There's lots of them in there. Jane, Sarah, Gary, Kim, Stephanie. So there's a few of them in there. The name of the group is derived etymologically, you can probably say that better than me, from Swedish liquor Brandvin. So there we go. But anyway, the song, charts and certifications in the UK charts. It got to number 3. So it didn't do too bad. I've never seen the music video. I think I have seen the music video. It's got that sort of hazy Californian sort of filter on it. I'll have to watch it later.
Okay. Well, it's you say I enjoy it, but I don't know. Should we go for the patriotic choice and put the British band through? Should we do it that way?
Yeah, I mean, Canada gave us Celine Dion, so...
To be fair, they also gave us the band.
Oh, yeah.
Neil Young, Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
And
Due South. Remember the TV show with the Mountie? Gave us that as well.
Okay, so we're going to go for the... I have more memories of it from the 90s.
I do as well.
More definitive of the 90s for me. So although the other one's a good track, we are putting the Blue Tones through.
They're in.
Sunshine in LA, or is it Drinking in LA?
Drinking in LA. Drinking in LA.
What
the hell am I doing drinking in LA?
Well, it was
Absolutely
the last chance saloon, and that was their last chance, and they've blown it. So
they were, and now the Blue Tones won. Blue Tones.
They are going to make yet another slight return. Quarterfinals for them.
They are. Well, we've only got 2 left, and they're here.
Okay.
And one of them is, well, yet again, the one that shouldn't be in there, because Prince wrote it. It's Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor.
Only because I don't want the purple one to be associated with a one-hit wonder in that way.
Well,
But
I mean, he did write songs for Ronan Keating, so
did he? I don't remember those ones.
don't you remember? Well, I can't remember what they were called, but no doubt he did somewhere. I think Ronan Keating's got a whole back catalogue of songs that were written for him by Prince.
Probably.
Yeah. And it's up against, you've got to do the sound, not so it sounds so much like Law and Order, that dum dum, but it is Underworld and Born Slippy.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah, I love that sound. Even just doing that. God,
so, Underworld. So, what can you say, Ben, about the challenger to Underworld?
She cries in the video and it's really slow. Nothing compares to you.
Yeah, but again, two very different records.
They are. They couldn't be they are completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Dark boy, tripping on angel boy.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the Underworld one does have some kind of lyrical meaning. I've never really known what most of the lyrics are. But to me, it's more about the whole sound and.
It has got a very, very cool sound to it. But
From the movie Trainspotting, that made it help to make it cool as well, didn't it? And obviously, lots of people own it because it was on the soundtrack to Trainspotting.
I've got that soundtrack. It's a very good soundtrack.
A big one. Am I right to think that the version on the Trainspotting soundtrack goes on for nearly 10 minutes?
I think it's a good. I think it's good 7.5, 8 minutes long. Yeah,
I think it was nearly 10 minutes, and I think that when I looked it up on streaming, I haven't been able to find a version of that Born Slippy that goes on for as long as the one that I remember.
No, it's normally about 7 minutes, isn't it? I think the one you get because I'm sure it's one of the Seahorses tracks, or is it a Stone Roses track that finishes after about 3.5 minutes, and it's just John Squire for 5 minutes jamming at the end.
Yeah, well, that's there's a long version of One Love, isn't there? That goes on for quite a long time, and there's a long version of what's the B side of that? The Stone Roses, Something's Burning.
Yes, yeah,
that goes on for a long time as well. There's a long version of that.
I'm just looking at some of the lyrics to.
I think there's a long Fool's Gold as well. Isn't there? Fool's Gold.
There is.
That's
9
minutes.
Yeah. You've got a velvet mouth. You're so succulent and beautiful, shimmering and dirty, wonderful and hot times. On your telephone line, and God and everything on your telephone, and in walks an angel. That's one of the verses from Born Slippy.
I can't even remember that being in it, to be honest.
He's got quite distorted vocal on it, hasn't he? So you don't sort of...
No, I've always quite liked the fact it's a bit mysterious.
Yeah.
There are some records with these vocals where you can't make out what they're singing, and I kind of quite like that, and it's kind of mysterious, and I'm not that.
Well, if you like that, you need to listen to the song "Maybe You've Been Brainwashed Too" by the New Radicals, because that's very much in that ilk as well.
Okay, well, on the basis that the Underworld one is more defining of the 90s again.
I think it is, yeah.
And the Sinead O'Connor song, of course, was written in the 80s. It's a 1985 song, I believe, the Prince one. And it had already been done by this other band, The Family. So not as original as the Underworld one. So that's another one against it. And the Underworld one has more energy, and it's more defining of the 90s, as I say. So I'm quite happy for Underworld to progress. They were born slippy, and they're slipping through again. And Sinead, well, I can't think of Nothing Compares to You. Can I think of a pun on that, going out the competition?
Nothing compares to going out at this stage.
Nothing compares to going out just before the quarterfinals.
There we go. Well done, Phil. No help needed from yours truly there whatsoever. That concludes the draw. That is it. We are down to the last 1, 2. How many that is? How many is that, Phil? We've got last 8.
Last day.
Quarter final.
4 quarterfinals to come. Look out for those. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all your comments, all your follows, and your shares. We really do appreciate the fact that you're watching our stuff and listening to us. So, until the next one, thanks. Goodbye.